Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something huge, a massive shift that's starting to happen in education. And it's going to affect, well, pretty much everyone. We're going to look at what the future is shaping up to be and ask the big question, are we actually getting our kids ready for it?
Think about the world our children are going to live in. It's going to be defined by technologies that are moving at lightning speed. For starters, artificial intelligence. It's going to be completely woven into the fabric of their lives.
And then there's robotics. This stuff isn't just for factories anymore. We're talking about robots in our homes, in our hospitals, part of our everyday lives.
And all of this tech comes together in big ideas like smart cities, where everything from traffic to energy is managed by technology. Look, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is the world being built right now as we speak.
Which, of course, brings us to the most important question of all. With a future that looks so incredibly different from the world we grew up in, are we actually doing enough to prepare the next generation?
And here's the thing, this isn't some far-off problem we can just kick down the road for someone else to deal with. The gap between how we're teaching our kids and what they actually need to know, well, that gap is already here, and it's getting wider every day.
And just look at this comparison. It lays out the problem so clearly. The old model, right? The one most of us went through? It's all about memorizing facts, just passively learning. But the world we're heading into, it rewards the total opposite. It rewards innovation, active problem solving, and not just learning about science, but actually getting your hands dirty and experiencing it.
So the big question is, how do we fix this? How do we bridge that gap? Well, one of the biggest ideas starting to pick up serious steam is a complete overhaul, making STEM a mandatory part of the curriculum.
Now, compulsory is a big word. So what are we really talking about? We're talking about putting science, technology, engineering, and math on the exact same level as English or math. It stops being an optional extra and becomes a fundamental pillar of what it means to be educated.
And that shift in thinking is just profound. In the past, STEM was an elective. It was an optional skill set for kids who were already into that stuff. But in the future we're talking about, it's essential knowledge. Not for some students, but for all students, from the first day of kindergarten all the way through college.
Okay, but let's be real. It's one thing to say we should make a massive change like this. It's another thing entirely to actually be ready for it. And that's where we run into what we can call the preparation gap.
And this is a question for every single educator, every school leader, every parent listening right now. Is your team, are you ready for this? Because this is about so much more than just sticking a new class on the schedule.
I mean, you've basically got two ways this can go. If you're unprepared, this whole thing is going to be stressful, chaotic, you're missing the tools, you don't have a plan. Honestly, it's just a mess. But if you're prepared, well, it can be a structured, effective, and way smoother process. So if we all want to be on that smoother path, what's the game plan? The materials we looked at pointed two really different approaches that are starting to pop up to tackle this problem. One that focuses on teachers and another that focuses on students. Okay, path number one. This is all about empowering the people who are on the front lines every single day, the educators. It's a system designed to give them the skills, the tools, and the confidence they need to actually lead this change. A perfect example of this is something called the STEM Maker Educator Certification Program. And it's not just a one-off course, it's a whole journey. A teacher can start as a facilitator, then level up to become an instructor, then a trainer who actually teaches other teachers, and finally, a curator, someone who can design an entire learning ecosystem from the ground up. So what does that actually mean for a teacher in a classroom? Well, the most important thing here is that this isn't just theory. We're talking about a complete toolkit. It gives an educator the practical skills, the ready-to-go lesson plans, the tools, the full syllabus, everything they need to walk in on day one and make it happen. And of course, a program like this is only as good as the experience behind it. This one, for example, is built on more than 20 years of real-world, in-the-trenches experience from its creator, Coach Jackie from Singapore. She started putting these kinds of programs into practice way back in 2003, and all that knowledge is getting packed into this certification, which is set to launch in March 2026.
The whole idea is that this is the very first time a program this complete, this thought out, has been created for this exact problem. It's an example of the kind of big systemic training that's going to be needed if we're serious about making compulsory STEM actually work.
Okay, so that's path one, which is all about the teachers. Path number two switches gears completely. It focuses directly on the students by providing a premium, hands-on learning experience.
This is the approach you see with places like the STEM Academy of Singapore. And the goal here is laser-focused on developing those skills the future is going to demand. We're talking about the big ones: innovation, creativity, critical thinking, and of course, problem solving. And I love this quote because it just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. It's all about creating the right environment, a place where a kid's natural curiosity can be sparked and then shaped into real, actual brilliance.
So all of this, these two paths, this huge shift, it brings us right back to the main point. This isn't just something that's happening around us. It's putting a clear moment of decision right in front of every single person involved in education.
Let's be really clear about this. This move to make STEM compulsory, it isn't just a tiny tweak to the school day. It's a major, major decision point for all of us. It forces us to stop and think, are we really preparing our kids for the world they're actually going to live in?
And so we end right back where we began, with one final powerful question for you. Because if this massive STEM shift is coming, and it sure looks like it is, the real decision isn't if you'll have to deal with it, it's how. So I'll just leave you with that to think about. Will you be ready?